So it is a beautiful Friday afternoon, very sunny. As you can probably tell, the light is going to keep changing throughout the entire video, so I'm sorry for that in advance. Yeah, so you guys sent in questions again. I just made myself some tea, cherry tea, and now I already said a billion things before I even said anything that has any value to you guys. So I'm just gonna read the questions now, try to answer them as best as possible. So let's go. Okay, so the first question is by Kerry, and she asks, does it frustrate you when people completely copy your style? I don't mean when we are all inspired by your work and it influences the way we draw, but when people copy it exactly. Thanks, lovely lady. Well, it did frustrate me before, and I would get sad and mad and angry about it, but now it happens more often, and I kind of learned to just stay calm and don't let it get to me too much, because at the end of the day, people are not going to get really far with this kind of behavior. People have to develop their own distinctive style, otherwise they will never really grow and not stay around for so long. But yeah, I feel like there's no point in copying someone else's work and then hoping to build an art career out of it, because the second you have to do something yourself, you're not going to be able to do that, because you don't really practice, you just copy. Yeah, whenever I see this, it definitely makes me sad and mad, but yeah, I just don't think about this for too long anymore. I always feel like it is unfair, but I cannot do anything about it, so I try to just believe in the good and have people that know me and my art, and I'm just hoping that they see that this is copied and this is not an original work. Yeah, it's not okay. It's not okay to the artist. It happens to all artists, and yeah, it is unfair, but you can't do anything about it. But yes, it makes us sad. Laurel asks, I think you said you used to work in product development previously. If so, do you feel like that helped you gain experience for when you had a shop or with developing art that people love to follow now? So happy to hear you had a good report on Baby Flynn. Thank you so much. Yes, I did work as a product designer and UX UI designer previously, before I did art full-time. But I didn't do it for a long time. I feel like it really helped me to learn how to work in a professional environment and also how to communicate in a professional manner. Even though in my own business now, I try to keep things very casual and not too professional, because it is not really the right place. And another thing I would say that I learned is, which is pretty obvious, but for my shop it was really important that I knew the importance of testing things first before making things in a huge quantity. Just like testing the market before jumping into it and maybe losing a lot of money and making things that people don't want in the end. I mean, I learned a lot in my previous jobs, but besides those things that I just told you, nothing really that I use now in my job now. Okay, Kate asks, could you possibly explain more about how you draw hair? Specifically, how you shape it so that it's not boxy. I feel like everyone says to draw the general shape of it, which is a blunt, boxy shape, and then suddenly their final versions have a beautiful amount of variation in strands at the bottom of the hair, versus just that blunt shape. And for some reason, I'm really struggling with how to make the ends of hair look good. I hope that made sense. It totally made sense. I totally get what you mean. And I think to make it look less boxy, maybe try to have a little less volume on top. I feel like that always looks boxy. And have a little more volume at the bottom, like this. And then a pretty important step of my process is I add individual strands of hair above the sketch and the line art, and that makes everything look a little more flowy. I think the best way is to just show you guys. Okay, so just said a pretty important step is to add individual strands. So here is the sketch, so which I mean like the line work, and then on top of it I have a layer with the individual hair strands like this, and I think this really helps a lot. So before it looked maybe a little bit more boring, but then to do that I just add another layer on top of the outline, and I use the dry ink brush, and then I just color pick the colors and add some hair to the outside and also into the face and stuff, and here, basically like everywhere, to make it a little bit more flowy. And then another thing you talked about, like the ends, is I'm going to show you on another file. Okay, so here's the hat. And then if you want to make the ends look good, I would like start with a very, well, I always start with this messy sketch just to see where I like everything to be. And I don't like to use like too much volume on top of the hair. And then first of all, I just like everything to be like that. And then another thing that I like to do at the end of the hair is this little hair flip right here. I'm gonna make it a little better, easier to see, like this. So this makes everything a little bit more together and not too weird. And if you have like individual strands, let me do it like that. Instead of doing this, try to be more flowy with everything. You know what I mean? I think what helps is having a very loose hand in the beginning and then refining it afterwards. But then what definitely helps, I think, the most is adding those individual strands of hair at the very end. And this is something that comes with practice, like knowing where to put them and stuff. So now, let me just color that quickly so you know what I just did here. Okay, the top is like whatever, okay? It's just about the bottom now. Okay, so and then I would go in above the sketch with the dry ink in this color, and then just do those individual strands of hair. And then you can make it thicker sometimes and make it really thin sometimes, and then it looks a little better. Another thing, if you don't want to show the ends, which I also like to do, is hide the ends kind of behind the character. So let's say this is, okay, so let's just say here's her shoulder. And now what you can also do is hide the ends like this. And then you can do the same thing again. Color it like this. And then add some individual strands of hair. So this is also something that I think really helps, and you can also draw in some texturing. I hope you found this helpful. The next question is also by Kate, and she said, I would also love to learn more about how you choose colors for highlights and shadows beyond just a general warm or cool description. I feel like whenever I try with shadows, things look too blue or just generally odd, and my highlights just never look right. Yours are so subtle and lovely. I will just show you again on the iPad because it's easier. Okay, so if your shadows look too blue, then try to choose a more grayish blue. So I have this
color test right here, which is just yeah, not very detailed, but this doesn't matter right now. So multiply, and then I use the dry ink, and then instead of choosing like a very bluish blue, which would look like this, which I also think it's way too blue, I sometimes use something more here, so it's almost just gray. You can see that? So that is more of a, it's a better shadow color. But when you're very unsure, what I also like to do is pick the skin color and make the shadows. Oh no, let's just say like this. And then at the end, if you can see that, I just lower the opacity. And then that always also makes a very nice shadow color. And then for highlights in an overlay, I cannot explain it more than really just having tried to be here between the red and yellow, and then have a really warm, so yeah, I don't know how else to explain it than just warm and bright. But what I do is for the highlights, I try to not overdo it with those and then once I'm done, I am also lowering the opacity, and then it looks really subtle and light.
Okay, Gintare asks, what would you wish to know before you had your baby boy that no one did tell you about? And what would you like to tell a mom to be? Sorry if this is a confusing question, I'm trying my best to make it clear. I hope you and your lovely family are having a wonderful day. Thank you so much, Gintare. So I feel like most people that I talked to when I was pregnant, they really scared me a little bit. They always said, oh my god, you will never sleep again, and oh my god, you will never have time for yourself again, or you will not have any time to do anything, and stuff like that. So I don't know if Flynn is a very calm and relaxed baby, but I was very surprised to find out that it is actually not that bad. So I do sleep at night, and even like sometimes I do wake up, but it is just for a couple of minutes, and then he's back sleeping again. Of course, we had some rough nights, but this does not happen often. I also have time for myself. Definitely not as much as I did before, but I still feel like I can get a shower, I can get ready, I can do whatever. It just takes a little bit more planning. So things definitely changed, and our routine was a mess for a couple of weeks, but once we adjusted, it's just fine. Another thing is that I am 100 times more emotional. I am very emotional already, but now it is even worse. So when I'm happy, I am very, 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 very happy. When I'm sad, I am very, 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 very sad. Very extreme. I also cannot read or see or hear anything about babies or kids that are unwell, or like sad movies where kids or babies are involved. It just gets to me too much, and I'm a little bit sad for a couple of days after I watched it. So no more sad movies for me. So what would I say to a mom to be? I think I would say that you are about to experience the most beautiful thing in the world, something that will change your view on everything, and something that makes you value every second you have. I would also tell them to enjoy every single second, because time starts flying with a baby. Like, you just blink and then suddenly they're like 5 months and you're like, ugh, how did that happen? And also to never have bad feelings, never have the feeling that you are not enough, never have the feeling that you do something wrong, because you are the best mom for your baby and everything your baby needs. And You will grow into it. And don't freak out in stressful situations like you not knowing how to calm the baby. This is normal. And if you go into the situation confident and happy and calm, your baby will feel that. And just laugh about things. Things happen, not everything goes to plan, whatever, it's okay. Oh, and routine. This is a big one. Maybe this is the reason that Flynn is so calm and happy. We try to follow somewhat of a routine. So we always watch his wake windows, his feeding times, nap times. So obviously this is different for every age. Flynn is 5 months now, and we just make sure that he eats every 3 hours max, and that he is not awake for longer than 2 to 2.5 hours at a time, that he has about 3 naps a day, and that all those naps are not more than 3 to 3.5 hours. So we really like to follow the tips from Taking Care of Babies. I cannot recommend her enough. When we started implementing her tips, it was when Flynn was really happy and really calm, and we still implement her tips, and everybody tells us what a happy baby he is. Okay, so the next question is by Thalia, and she asked, in one of your podcasts you mentioned your work schedule. I would like to know more about your life now as a mom. Whoa! What's the best way for you to balance drawing, breastfeeding, house chores, and time for yourself? I'm in the same situation, new mom and illustrator, and any recommendations would be great. Okay, so here's my weekly schedule. I have different days for different things. So in general, my work days are Mondays and Fridays. And well, first of all, we are very lucky that Dom can also work from home most of the time. So we split up a lot of things, and he helps me and I help him. So every Monday and Friday are my working days, which sound like more work than I actually do. So in general, Mondays and Fridays are the days where Dom watches Flynn for his playtimes. I still do his nap times and feeding, obviously, because Flynn just likes to sleep when mommy is around for some reason. So this means on Mondays and Fridays I can work around 3 to 4 hours in the daytime, and all the other days I don't work in the daytime, I just work in the evening. So a typical day on a Monday and Friday is we wake up between 6 and 7, and then I feed Flynn, and then I get ready while Dom is changing his diaper and stuff and gets him ready for the day, and then he's playing with him while I can already get a little bit of work done. Then we go out for coffee, which we do every single morning because Flynn likes to have his first nap in the carrier, and for us it's also great because we have to go with Cooper, and then we also just like to have coffee first thing in the morning. So this is our morning ritual. And then we get back, and then it's around 10 a.m. Then I feed Flynn again, and then he is with his dad to play, and I can get some work done until about 12 o'clock. And then it is nap time. So either I take him in the carrier again and we go for a walk again, or for lunch or something, or I go lay with him in our bed and we just have a little nap together, which is also really nice. I'm not mad about that. And then he sleeps until about 1 or 1:30 in the afternoon, and then I feed him again, and then he plays with Dom again, and I have some work time again. Then I can work again until 4, and then he has his last nap of the day, which is just like a cat nap, like 30 minutes. And then at around 6 I give him a bath, we sing some songs, I read some books with him, and then we put on his jammies and sleep sack, and put the sound machine on, and I put him in the crib. And then if everything goes well he sleeps by 7, and then is the time where everything is quiet and I can get like 4 hours straight of work, which is amazing because I can really concentrate on my work. I also eat dinner meanwhile, which Dom is making most of the time now. So this is Mondays and Fridays, and the rest of the days, also on the weekend, I don't work during the day. I watch Flynn, and then I always work at night. from 7 to 11 almost every single night. So this is our schedule. Definitely very different to how it was before, but I feel like this is the best because I get sleep, I get quality time with my son, I can be present, and I can get some focused hours for work. So this is really amazing. But I also need those Mondays and Fridays, because on Mondays I usually film my videos so I can edit them throughout the week and then upload them at the end of the week. And then like with breastfeeding, I just breastfeed throughout the day every 3 hours, or sometimes also 1.5 hours. He does not take the bottle or anything else, so we try to be home every 3 hours. And if it's not working, I just feed in public. Oh yeah, and then house chores, we kind of split. I try to do some stuff right in the morning, like first thing in the morning, or in the evening when Flynn is sleeping. And sometimes when he's playing on the playmat, I like to water my plants and stuff. And so I just squeeze it in here and there, but also Dom is doing a lot. I'm not doing everything myself. We are a good team, I would say. Time for myself. Well, I have to say drawing is also time for myself. So I really love drawing, so I do that at night. And then if I want to do like a face mask or have some extra spa time or go work out and stuff, which I don't do anymore, but if I would like to work out, I just ask Dom if he can watch Flynn for a while. Oh my gosh, this is so right. And if I go out with friends, I take Flynn with me. Next question. Joanna asks, do you ever miss your previous job? Or any part of the fact that drawing was only a passion for you? Not a single bit. So I know so many people say, don't make your hobby to a job. But for me, this is the only way I want to live, because I don't want to waste any second of my life doing things I don't love. And if I would have to, 8 hours a day to do things that I don't passionately love, what is the point? For me, every day is fun. If I have to work, I love it. If I cannot work because I'm on vacation or I'm sick or whatever, I miss it. And I think this is exactly the way it should be. I do not miss having to go to an office at a set time, commuting in the way too crowded public transportation in Berlin. I also don't miss reporting to anyone, and I don't miss the guilty feeling of leaving earlier than others. And I just really love the freedom that comes with my job, and I'm so grateful and I appreciate it so much that you guys make it possible for me. You guys really make it possible for me to live that life. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I mean it, I really mean it. And the last question comes from Greyshell, and she says, as an artist, what do you think sets you apart from others? Oh, Greyshell, this is the hardest question of the day. I always have such a hard time answering those kind of questions. I think all the artists, everyone is different, and it makes them successful. I think if you really are your true self, then you show it in your work, you show it in everything you put online. People like your personality or they don't. And I think this is the only way that sets us all apart from each other. Everyone puts something from their character, like from their own personality, into the drawing, which comes naturally because, you are your own self. And I think this is what sets us all apart from each other. Things we like, things that get us inspired, where we live. We're all very dedicated, passionate. We draw a lot. We are all a little bit nerdy. Also very often a little bit more reserved and quiet. Sometimes not, sometimes yes. But yeah, everyone is their own personality, and I think this is what sets us apart. Which is nothing good and nothing bad. It's just the way it is. Yeah, it's like a peek into the life of an artist when you look at their work or their YouTube studio vlogs, Patreon content. Just are different lives. Everyone has a different life, and you either like it or you don't. And then you either want to follow or you don't. I think once you start pretending to be someone you are not, or once you, like the first question we had today, once you just copy someone, it's not going to work out because it's just not authentic. So those were all the questions. Those were some great questions, guys. I loved all the questions this month. It was a lot of fun answering them, and I really hope you liked it. And I see you next month. Bye!